Good morning everybody, this is Steve Wells at JJ Roofing Supplies. I'm coming to you live from our Roofing Training Academy here at Cricklewood in North London, and we're really pleased to be putting out the first episode of Never Just a Roof. What is Never Just a Roof? We decided we'd like to get some characters and some very knowledgeable people from the roofing and building industry involved in some live streams once a month, so every month there's going to be an episode. And today's first guest is a guy called Mark Dymond. Mark Dymond is the Chief Technical Trainer from Velux, and I've worked with him for a number of years. He's been running training courses here at the facility, and I think he's been with Velux for 14 years, but he's going to tell us a bit more than that, and we're going to invite him now onto the session. Good morning, Mark. Where is he? Here he is. Good morning, Steve. Technology for you. You all right?
I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
That's great. Obviously, I've got Nick on hand, and Nick's going to be responding to any comments that you post during this session that we're going to put up. So that's great. Please like it, and please follow us to get notifications of the next episodes that's coming up. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Mark Dymond from Velux. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Steve. How are we?
Yeah, I'm good. Whereabouts are you, Mark, at the moment? Where in the world?
I'm currently in my office within the headquarters of Velux, which is located in Glenrothes. And for those of you that don't know a lot about Scotland, it's a little place pretty much between Edinburgh and Dundee. But that's where the headquarters of Velux is based. And that's where my training academy will also eventually be based within this building once I've relocated it. So I'm just in the midst of designing and building a brand new training academy here as well.
That's fantastic. Obviously, we've worked with you for a number of years now at JJ Roofing. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark? How long you've been with Velux and what your job actually entails?
Certainly, yeah. I've been with Velux now for, it'll be 15 years when we get towards the end of this year. I started off in technical support. Spent a few years there before moving into training. Spent a few years doing technical support and training, depending on what time commitments we had. But obviously, the company recognised the benefits of having full-time trainers. So I was asked to really just concentrate on that a few years back. But as you know, I've been down to your training academy many times over the years. Yeah. So I know it quite well now.
That's good. Well, obviously you helped us in the sort of setup of the situation we've got to make sure that it's good for Velux and good for Velux's contractors. So obviously we've got you on today, Mark, because of your 15 years worth of Velux knowledge. We've obviously dealt with Velux for over 30 years, which is, we've got a fantastic relationship. And the idea of today really is to go through some pro tips and tricks. So the people that are watching, all you guys that have tuned in for the stream, don't be shy. Post any questions that you'd like to ask Mark later in the session, which will be fantastic. The first thing, Mark, is a pro tip, and you wanted to talk to the guys on the stream today about the barrel bolt. Get that right, barrel bolt.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things that I've just learned over the years. Something as simple as the little barrel bolt that would normally be used, obviously, to lock the window for cleaning the outer pane once you've pivoted the sash round, is actually one of the handiest little tools when it comes to fitting the sash and giving yourself a spare hand to lock the hinges in. Now, I've taken a window out of the office here. Thankfully, it's not the usual weather, so it's not actually raining.
Not raining.
So what I can do is I've also got a spare pair of hands. I've got Stephen here as well that I'll pass the iPad on to him.
Yeah.
And I'll quite happily go round and hopefully we'll be able to sort of show just how easy it can make life just having that barrel bolt. So if you just give me 2 seconds, Steve, I'll flip the camera around.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And, you know, we have had, you know, anybody that's been to any of the training sessions at Cricklewood, Mark always brings this session, brings this little tip up in the session. And the most experienced contractors are amazed. Something so simple is so helpful to what they're able to do when they fit a window. Back over to you, Mark.
Brilliant. So you can see my right hand being under this sort of corner here just gives me access to that bolt. So now as I feed this through, You can now see as I square that up, I can just lower that in and lock the barrel bolt into place. So with that now locked into place, I've actually got a free hand. So I can square everything up, use my spare hand just to guide that first hinge in. I've now got 2 free hands to push that out, guide that hinge in, undo the barrel bolt and bring it round.
That's great. Do you use that tip when you're just putting the sash back in, or can you do the same in reverse?
I would do the same in reverse. If I'm ever removing the sash, you just do that in reverse. Lock the barrel bolt in, press in the release buttons, bring it back to the upright, then you can just slide everything forwards in one smooth move without the hinges sort of catching as you go. That's
fantastic. Well, I hope everybody could see that. I was peering right into to see the actual action going on. We've also got a Velux Protect tool, Mark.
Yes, we do.
Have we got, where is it, Nick? There we go. It's nice and red. Stickers upside down. Nick, thanks, Nick. Mark's gonna talk us through what this Velux Protect tool is. It's not readily available at the moment, and we're going to give you a little bit of a nice surprise at the end of the session. Can you talk us through what that Velux Protect tool is actually useful for? I've never seen it, Mark, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really good idea.
It is. It's a brilliant bit of kit because, again, we appreciate the fact that not everybody is going to be aware of that little handy tip with the barrel bolt, although hopefully that's obviously now a little bit more widely known. So as an obvious other backup plan, we want to do whatever we can to protect the bottom of the window frame, because that's the part that's most likely to get caught, especially if you're using a really heavy sash and you want that rest before you can engage it all. So the Protect tool, as you can see here, this main section can actually just clip onto the bottom of the window frame. So you've got that nice heavy ridge here that as you feed the sash through, you can just rest it on top of this thick rubber tool. And then we've also just got 2 smaller side sections which will just clip onto either side of the frame. So even as you feed it through and square it up, if you were just to catch the corner, that could potentially mark the pine window. But of course you've got a bit of protection there. The good thing with this is it's such a hard-wearing, heavy-duty rubber. In sort of tests, we would expect this to last a minimum of 100 installations or more, because it's so robust. So it's one of those handy things with that hook on it that obviously you can just clip it all back together and just hook it on a screw in the back of the van, and you've always got it there for whenever you're doing your Velux installations.
That's fantastic. Will it work on any size window, will it?
Absolutely. The only one you have to be careful of is our very slimmest windows. So we do make a 472 wide window, just in the one size, the BK04. And in that regard, you might have to just trim a little bit of the rubber back on the bottom section to allow it to fit. But every other size, certainly the more standard sizes, then it will just fit on, because even on the bigger windows, you can just put it roughly in the middle, because that's where the sash is going to come to rest.
Okay, is that something you can show us in action, Mark, or is that not possible?
You just try to stretch me.
I'm thinking about it. I should have got you to do it before you did the barrel bolt, really.
What I'll do then, if you give me 2 seconds, I can quickly take that window out.
Yeah.
And then I'll reuse the frame for the Protect kit.
Oh, so we're going to do the tip. We're going to do the tip again, then, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we can lock that in. Push in the little release buttons. Can't always guarantee you'll be able to do it with your thumb, but I've been doing it for a while. Bring it back to the upright, and then you can just push it around and bring your sash in. And then with the Protect kit, pop it so you've got the 2 square sides towards the front edge. So that just hooks over like so, and this bottom lip will actually catch on the underside like so. And then with these side sections, you can see how that just hooks around the frame. So you've got plenty of protection there. So as you feed the frame through, you've got a nice solid base there.
Fantastic.
So if you're going to make me fit the sash again, then this is while I had breakfast.
How many Weetabix did you have?
So you can see now, you can just rest it there.
No, yeah.
Safe in the knowledge it's not going to cause any damage.
Yeah. And that'll work on white painted and polyurethane windows.
Absolutely, yeah. And you can see there that little lip. You can just let the window rest against that as you lower it back. Guide the hinges into place. And with the hinges engaged, just push it up a little bit. Pop the parts off. And let it come back round. So really useful, as I say, for those heavier ones where you just might want that little bit of a breather, even if there's two of you fitting it, because it's one of our bigger, heavier triple glazed windows, etc.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks for that. I know that was a bit of an unexpected task for you, but
I'm going for a lie down now.
Yeah. I just thought, having seen it, that the guys watching the stream today, it would be useful for them to be able to see exactly how you use it along with the barrel bolt. Also, I know I hadn't been aware, to be honest, but in one of the training sessions, obviously you pointed out about the QR codes on the boxes. Can you talk to us about them, Mark?
What we could do is, again, Steve might be able to pick that up on the actual box itself, where you can see on all of our cartons, whether they are the windows, whether they're the flashings, we can see the QR code here.
Yeah.
I suppose we're all a bit more familiar with QR codes now since the pandemic, with all your track and trace, etc. But beforehand, it's been one of those things that people weren't always aware of. You'll also see them on our instructions. So on the EDW, it's printed there. The window instructions we have as well. And if you simply scan that, either using the scanner that tends to be automatically built into your camera on the phone for a lot of newer phones, but on slightly older phones, you can download an app that will allow you to actually access that. Then I've turned the darkness down so you can hopefully see it, but what you get when you scan that is an animated version, if I can find the play button, of our installation instructions. So really useful for instances where it may be a new product that you haven't seen before. It may be one that you haven't fitted for quite a while, so you just want a refresher. It might be that you're new to Velux installations altogether, or you've got apprentices who are. It's just a useful additional way of getting the right information out to anyone who's installing Velux products.
Oh, what a good idea.
And it's the sort of thing that we're going to expand on a lot more going forward, because we all have the capacity to access digital information pretty much in our pockets as we're out there doing our day-to-day work.
Are they on most products or all products, Mark? Or
we're not quite there with every product yet, but we are certainly working along. The ones that are generally more commonly installed are the ones that you're likely to find them. At times you may find if it's one of the sort of the rarely installed variations of our windows, the real high-end sort of one-off project type things, I can't guarantee that they'll be on all of those, but we obviously a quick call into the office or a quick email, and any animations that we might have available, we can still always email them out to you.
That's absolutely fabulous. I think they're a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
Very innovative. I don't know whether anybody else does it with their products, but I've not seen it anywhere else, and I think it's a great innovation from Velux. Not that we wouldn't expect that, of course, but it's fantastic. Now, talking about innovations, we've got a new product coming, Mark, haven't we? Which I think is already in the brand new catalogue. This is a low-pitched roof window. Can you talk to our guys, talk to the people streaming about that product and when it's coming?
I can do a little bit better than that, if you like. I can give you a sneaky preview.
Oh, beautiful.
Because I did a little bit of filming just a few weeks ago, ready for some training sessions, because obviously things are still having to be done a little bit more digitally. So what we'll do is, if you bear with me a second, I need to just pop my mask on, because restrictions in Scotland are still a little bit different to where they are sort of everywhere else. So we're still required to wear a mask, but it's just a little pop down into the main sort of old reception area, which is our sort of filming area just now.
That's great. That's a proper result that we're going to actually see a bit of an install video. That's fantastic, Mark. Appreciate that.
Not a problem. The main thing to bear in mind, and the real advantage with the low pitch window, is anyone who's used to fitting our centre pivot windows with EDW flashings, that's pretty much what it is. We've taken what we know works and we've just made it more watertight for those lower roof pitches, because we know there's on average 20 to 30,000 extensions built every year where the roof pitch is less than our minimum 15 degrees. So it makes sense that we need to ensure we've got something we can give our customers that still lets them have the benefit of daylight ventilation, but obviously you don't want it leaking. So as Steve sort of has a little look at the window here, you can see on first inspection, not massively different in appearance until we get to the bottom, where you can see now how the glass runs right to the bottom edge of the window. Because we don't want to have a section of aluminium like we normally do here, because that would potentially allow water that's slowly trickling down on a 10-degree pitch to maybe pool against that trim. So now it can just run straight off the glass and onto the flashings. If I open this up a little bit, we can also see along the base here, we've added a heavy-duty rubber gasket sort of seal. And what you can't quite see, we've also ran that along either side as well, because that's the section that's naturally going to be under the most pressure when we've got driving rain coming at the window. So as well as it being a really good, watertight design, having that glass running right to the bottom of the edge of the window is a really nice aesthetic sort of touch as well. And that could be the sort of design that we maybe take forward for the majority of our windows when we get to the next evolution of our product range.
All right.
We've also expanded the bottom apron a little bit, because obviously we want the slow running water to get here where we know it's going to obviously get down to the guttering, etc. So this section still looks quite similar to a normal EDW, but it is about 100 or so mil wider. And we have that slightly extended lip here. So any rain that might come driving in and trying to get under the tiles has a good barrier, which will then force it to come back along the deeper apron. So this is a good 50 mil deeper than the standard apron as well, because we need to make sure we've obviously got ample coverage below the window. But this has gone through all of our standard tests. Nothing, we don't bring anything out until we've absolutely battered it in our test centres, before we obviously take it for independent sort of testing and evaluation to get all the certified figures. So we are happy that we finally have something that we can bring out. And to be fair, we've driven this mainly in GB and Ireland, because we have such a large market where the roof pitches are crying out for something that gives everybody the daylight and ventilation that they will actually benefit from within their shallower pitched extensions. That's
fantastic. Is it available in a range of sizes, Mark?
We've got, if memory serves me right, you've tested me now, Steve, about 7 sizes.
All right.
And we'll start, we've got a couple of smaller ones, around the sort of the CK04 size. And then they're sort of, we've got a mid-range, and we can go up to even quite a smallish SK01, which is an unusual size, but it's one of our 1140 wide by only 700 high. But we want to make sure we've at least got a reasonable range that people can pick from. It is only initially available in the white painted pine, and single installations rather than combinations. But the benefit is, because it's pretty much a standard centre pivot window, just with a heavier duty friction spring to obviously allow the window to still stay open a little bit more than it would otherwise, you can easily upgrade it by adding our solar conversion kit, the KSX 100K. 15 minutes work adds an awful lot of value to the window. You can obviously add our full range of blinds inside and the external heat protection. If you're in the enviable position where you have to try and block out the heat when we occasionally get it, then we can obviously do that by adding an external awning style heat protection sort of blind.
That's fantastic. So what's the minimum pitch it can go down to, Mark?
You can go all the way down to 10 degrees.
Okay. Is there a maximum pitch at which you'd use it, or or not
I
really?
suppose in theory, no. But what we would certainly advise is that you would probably leave it as 10 to 20 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's simply because of some of the changes that we've had to make below this bottom section of glass. Because normally a lot of people would be familiar with the little drainage channel that we have at the base of the window, which allows any condensation that might gather there to sort of drip through these little weep holes, and they're guided out via the gasket onto the flashings. Of course, at a low pitch, that would be somewhere that driving rain could actually sneak in. So we've had to sort of raise the upstand on that to make it a lot more watertight.
That's fantastic.
So it does mean condensation wouldn't be able to sort of drain through. So that's why 20 degrees is the maximum. Because in that situation, any condensation would actually obviously drip straight off the glass into the room. But ideally, if everybody vents their properties, vents their rooms correctly a couple of times a day, condensation is not a problem.
No, that's fantastic. I'm sold, Mark. So when can we get them?
September is the target date. Obviously, I'm not gonna pretend that we're not having some issues, as with every other company in the whole of the globe just now with supplies, etc. But we are confident that we will be ready to be able to launch these for the start of September.
That's brilliant. And of course, as you would expect, because their tagline says, if it's on the roof, we stock it, they'll be available from JJ Roofing Supplies as soon as they're available. So that's great. So that's a first. It is in the brochure. It is in the brochure, but it's a first, and we really appreciate you being able to show that window to our guys who are streaming, guys and girls, watching today's stream. So that's fantastic. The next thing I need to go on to, Mark, if it's possible, is Velux online training partnership with JJ Roofing Supplies, which has gone really well. Can you talk to our guys and girls who are watching this stream today about the certified installer scheme?
Certainly, yeah. The certified installer scheme was something we created many years ago now, and the initial purpose of it is, as you would expect, we want our products to be installed the way they are meant to be installed. And we also understand that that doesn't always happen. And it's not unusual with our product. It's the same with many different aspects within roofing and within building in general. So what we want to do is we want to be able to promote workers who we know do things the right way. They follow the Velux installation principles. So if you become a certified installer, you are joining a scheme that's part of the Trustmark scheme. So that gives homeowners a lot of peace of mind as well when they're looking for installers to come and fit Velux products. Because obviously it's a government endorsed scheme, and to be on the scheme, you will obviously be vetted. From the company perspective, obviously the usual things, finances, public liability, customer references, as you would expect. But also, we will come out and inspect a Velux installation, because we want to obviously make sure that our name is assigned to this, so we want whoever's on that scheme to understand the importance of doing everything the right way. And we see it as a partnership. So on the scheme, we will look to we create schemes that are there to help promote the work of certified installers, whether it's for replacing old windows. We have a scheme that helps push that work towards certified installers as a reward for being within this partnership. So there is good business value to an installer being on the certified installer scheme. And although there is a membership fee, as you would imagine, because there's very little in this world that's free just now, and it's usually £125 plus that. But I believe you have a bit of a special offer for anyone who's interested.
Yeah, we do, Mark. I'm glad you reminded me of that. I wouldn't say I've forgotten, but it's one of many things on today's stream. Obviously, we've joined up with Velux, and we've got an online training portal, which Nick will put a link up in the comments that you can go to. We're looking for people to sign up through our portal for 4 training courses. One of them is best practice, which we've had good success with that already. One is 3-in-1 studio training, which is another fantastic bit of kit. Integra and conversion training, and flashings training. And what we're proposing is that people who sign up for them courses, them particular 4 courses, via our portal, we will cover that first year's fee to become a certified installer. Do you think that's a good idea, Mark?
Absolutely. In fact, we're able to increase the option, because what we can also add on to that is the flat roof range, because obviously there are a lot of installers who specialise in flat roof windows, maybe more than pitched roof. So we can certainly add our new flat roof window product range training session to that mix. So anyone can still do best practice, the flat roof window, and maybe 2 others, and that still gives them their foot in the door. Of course, they still have to comply by all of the legal sort of implications and make sure that the company ticks all the right boxes and obviously their workmanship does. But it's a really good first sort of step towards getting more Velux work by being on the certified scheme.
Well, that's great. And obviously I've been present when you guys, when Velux have actually run certified installers training down at our Cricklewood Training Centre, where it has been packed to the open rafters, where we've had 14, 16 people, and they love being part of that certified installer scheme. So I think it's a really good idea to get on board with that. We will be highlighting a link, another job for Nick. The 3-in-1 training for the Studio 3-in-1 window will be available via our portal on the 1st of September. So if you look for Nick's link in the comments and sign up for that, that will take you part way to get into the certified installer scheme, which is fantastic. And thanks for reminding me about the special offer, Mark. We've got another one today on that fantastic Velux Protect Tool. This is, I think you would say, the gift that money can't buy, because it's not available to purchase at the moment. But we've got 15, that's 15 to give away to people who have commented. Maybe they give us waves, any direct messages via Instagram, and we'll get in contact you, or rather Nick will. I won't, because I don't know how to do it. Nick will get in touch and organise for that fantastic Protect Tool to come to you, which is absolutely fantastic. It's been really good. We're nearly at the end of our session, Mark. I know I've thrown you in the deep end with a couple of unscheduled bits that you've done, but we have got something that wasn't scheduled as well. Just some 5 questions to you, Mark, because you're such a nice guy and you're so knowledgeable. I couldn't pass the experience of being on a live stream with you without asking some questions. So when you left school, what was your first job?
My first job was actually working at a glass factory. I was lucky that one of my friends' sort of dads worked there, and literally the day I left school, he said there were jobs in the warehouse part of a glass factory, so off I went.
That's fantastic. So I suppose there's a little bit of a link there. How did you then become Velux Academy Training Chief Technical Training Officer? How did you get into that job?
That's a long journey, that one. But in a very brief nutshell, Steve, I was a brickie for about 12 years, going back about 30. And then from there, I sort of left the trade, did a few different things, ended up working in a facilities management department, even doing IT support as well, such as the weird and wonderful varied sort of career I've had, until I found my way to the technical support team at Velux, having never only ever fitting 1 Velux previously. All right. So that was a bit of a steep learning curve for me.
Fantastic. Another question. Who's the most non-roofing related famous person you've ever met in your job?
In my job?
Or in your life? You can say in your life if you want, but I suppose it's usually funnier when you go to work on a loft conversion and it's someone famous in there that you didn't know. But life or job, Mark?
Yeah, I suppose. As I say, I'm such a shy guy, Steve. I've rarely met too many famous people. So I would say it's maybe, obviously, for many years we used to do things like the Grand Designs exhibition. So it's maybe cheating a bit because it's still work related. But obviously, if you met people like Kevin McLeod and whatever there, he used to regularly come on and whatever. So I suppose I could drop that one in.
Fantastic. Nick keeps reminding me that I met Brian McFadden from Westlife before he exited the building, but
I was never going to top that.
No, I suppose not. Have you got a little funny short story from a training session that you could impart to us that might make us giggle?
I do remember an internal training session once, which was a brilliant way of just not quite understanding a message, where we do a lot of internal training where we actually teach all of our customer service team a better understanding of roofing, not just our own products. So we actually get them to understand gauging out a roof, and we get them to build a roof before they then fit the Velux. So we naturally get them to do a water test, so they get used to it all. And there was one time I do remember, I'll save him the blushes by not naming him, but he had the jug of water, and we were just merely saying, no, just spray it a little bit further to the side. He misinterpreted it and decided to launch this jug of water completely across the workshop, smashed the smithereens into the side of the wall. So he's never lived that one down.
I bet he hasn't. That's fantastic. I'm going to close the session now. It's been a fantastic half an hour. You know, we do appreciate Velux's help and support as ever, as we have done over the last 35 years, which is absolutely fantastic. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and streaming and waving to us. I think there's a button that you have to push to wave back, which is absolutely fantastic. We've got our next live session in September, and we've got a guy called Matt Woodyat, who's the BMI technical trainer from Redlands. He is a top fella, just like Mark, knows exactly what he's talking about. And again, at their estimating courses, he's come up with some fantastic tips and tricks for experienced contractors, let alone newbies. So look out for that link. We'll be posting about that on our social channels. Please remember to follow us at JJ Roofing Supplies on our Instagram feed to let you know of upcoming Never Just a Roof episodes, which is really great. And just finally, a couple of big thank yous really. Thanks to Mark. You know, I've been back at JJ's for 5 years, which is great, and you've been really instrumental in helping us push our business forward, especially with our training side here at Cricklewood, which is really good. And I'd also just like to thank Nick. Come here, Nick. Come and say hello. Nick's our marketing manager. He tells me, don't be nervous, don't be shy, just get on with it. And I had to tug him in there, which is great. So big thanks to Nick. It's been a lot of hard work. Obviously, we've got one of these sessions every month, so there's a lot more hard work to come every month, which is really great. We're going to have some fantastic, knowledgeable and funny, a bit like you, Mark, got a bit of a sense of humour on our session, which is great. I'd also like to thank all our customers. It's the first live stream we've ever done. I'd like to thank you guys for supporting us and continuing to support us over the last difficult, that's how I'd like to describe it, 18 months. It hasn't been easy. And I'd also like to thank all our staff. All our staff have been real troopers. The company have made it really safe for us to come into work. And all you guys that use us to supply, you know we were virtually open all the time, which is fantastic. And it's a real testament to the hard-working staff that we've got at JJ Roofing Supplies. So I'd like to thank everybody within the company for putting their shoulder to the wheel and just making it all happen. So thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you found it enjoyable. So we look forward to seeing you in September when we've got Matt Woodyat from BMI Redlands, who's a fantastic guy. And we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks ever so much for your time. You have a really good day. And don't forget, Never Just a Roof. It's every month via Instagram Live. Don't miss out. Because if it's on the roof, we stock it.
Thanks a lot, Steve.